ndingusandla Maphisa, ndihlala apha ezagwityulela niyibona apha ngaphesha kweGcuwa Dam. Apha siyasokola apha kakhulu ezimpahleni, nangoku ndisuka khangela inkomo ngoku. Sikothatha ngapha ebika inkomo, asinamanzi apha kweli dam lalapha eGcuwa. Siyasokola amanzi nokutya, azityi into, kunzima. Siyacela urhulumente ingase asincedise, abe noncedisano lwenza kuthi, siyasokola kakhulu. Eenkomo zezi silala sitye zona, sifundise nangazo abantwana. Siyacela urhulumente asincedise. Sicela uncediso kule meko siyibona apha eGcuwa. Nasedilokishini kunzima, nasezilalini kunzima amanzi. Abantu abaseli, kunzima noflasha ezitoiletini, akho nto. Siyacela urhulumente asincede. Sicela kakhulu, siyasokola apha. Abantu kugcwele kwendawo, kuhanjwa kufuna iinkomo. Iinkomo azinandawo yotya, kunzima. Akho kwandawo osela, amanzi iyafa, zifela emlanjeni iinkomo. Nalapho ubungabona lapho kweli dam esikulo ngoku, zigcwele apha, zininzi, zifile, ziphelela apha iinkomo zethu, kunzima. Siyacela urhulumente ngabona icebo noko. Sicela kuye urhulumente enze icebo anganalo. Noba angakwazi uba angagrumba eli dam, singavuya kakhulu. Abe nokusinceda ngamandla. Siyacela urhulumente, siyasokola urhulumente, siyacela masincedakale. Iinkomo ziyaphela ngoku, asinathi sithembele kweenkomo, asiphangeli, siphila ngeenkomo. Siyacela urhulumente sincedise.
Siyacela kurhulumente, siyasokola ngamanzi, siyasokola, asikwazi nokuthini, nabantwana bayagula ngala manzi.
Hayi sawuthi kuye usenokwenzeka uba zikhona into azigqibezelayo khange eve kuba nale ntlanganiso ukuyibiza ngenye ixesha ibe yi-10 hours. I am not coming with the positive response to the people, because all I actually answered to the people is something that I'm already told by the Department of Water and Sanitation in relation to the question of the Gcuwa Dam. The thing that they're actually asking of desilting the dam, that we were actually answered by the Department of Water and Sanitation, that desilting is something that need the Department of Environmental Affairs to deal with the matter. It's not something that is going to deal with the municipality.
Amatole District Municipality has been experiencing drought since 2015. We've declared drought in 2015, and we continue to redeclare drought. We've declared drought again during 2019. That all 6 municipalities under Amatole are experiencing drought. It is not only Mngxuma local municipality. Mbashe, next to Mngxuma, is also experiencing serious drought. Remo Mhlaba, especially Adelaide and Bedford, are experiencing serious drought. Adelaide has been without surface water for the past 13 to 14 months now. Again, they are working with the Department of Water and Sanitation in ensuring that we're putting in place mitigating factors.
We are in Butterworth water treatment works. This is where water is pumped, purified and pumped to Butterworth and surrounding townships, as well as Ngamakwe and some parts of Endane. This works was opened on the 28th of May 1977. That was a long time ago, and that was when Butterworth had a population much lesser than now. That was even before the democratic dispensation, which means the governments then was looking at the minority of the people. But now that we have a government that treats people the same and they have to get the same treatment, it means it's basically doesn't have capacity to cater for the whole of Butterworth.
We are in the final water pump station. All these 4 pumps are pumps which used to pump to the town reservoir, which is the main reservoir of Butterworth communities, which is that reservoir feeds all the other reservoirs. 2 of these pumps are run at a time. You can't run all 4 of them because of the amount of water that they are producing. Once you run 2 pumps, you are producing about 184 liters per second to pump to that reservoir at top. That reservoir it's a 4 megaliter reservoir. It's got 2 reservoirs in. As you can see, that wall you see on that side, that itself it's a reservoir, which means that water that came into the treatment works came into that reservoir and then are being pulled out by these pumps and go up to the town reservoir. From the town reservoir, we've got gravity flow that goes towards the beaker pumps, your Cuba pumps, and your Sizamele pumps, and not your Sizamele, your Sianda pumps. Those are pump stations that are taking water directly from reservoir number 2, and also you get your pumps that are pumping to reservoir number 3. Reservoir number 3 is the critical reservoir we used to feed directly into the hospital, but because we are not functional, all those reservoirs are empty now. There are no water in any of those reservoirs because of the crisis of the drought that we are having currently.
So the reason why we can even talk nicely together is because the plant basically is non-functional. We are not pumping any water. There is no water coming in, there is no water coming out.
Butterworth Hospital is a district hospital with 265 usable beds. You can just imagine the numbers that we deal with. The placement of the hospital itself, that is on the N2, means that even people that don't stay here, anything that happens like MVAs, accidents, patients are brought to our hospital. We need to always be ready then, therefore. The impact of this crisis or the drought is that as a hospital, we are expected to be the most hygienic place or the safest institution compared to any institutions, as far as hygiene is concerned, and also ensuring that we are providing the best care. If, for instance, we're expecting about 100,000 liters per day of water and we don't get that, the following will be affected. Patients won't be able to bath, we won't be able to clean up the hospital, we won't be able to cope in the kitchen, the laundry. So it means that we need more than 100,000 liters per day to be able to just survive, because the 100,000 liters per day only covers ablution facilities without going to any other department like the CSSD, where we have to clean the instruments that we've used or autoclave the instruments that we are using in the various departments. An example is sterile packs are needed in the theaters, sterile packs are needed in the emergency department for stitching of patients that come in with accidents and all that. That amount of water, therefore, doesn't even get to cover the laundry department. How much linen is washed from each ward, not mentioning the theaters with the various towels or drapes that are needed for the various procedures. Currently, what we are doing is that, we have to borrow a truck from Amahlati to transport, because now the amount or load of laundry that is always just sitting there waiting to be washed, because now our machines cannot function and cannot cope with the load of the laundry that has to be done. So we transport the laundry to areas like East London and Umtata, and that's quite a distance. We don't test the water. We don't know how safe the water that we are being brought by our contractors or the contractors that have been contracted by the supplier for the water. So we just see the trucks coming in. The only measure that we do as the hospital is to check that they've bought the water. Where they've bought the water from, we don't know how safe that water is, because we don't have a system of testing the water on how safe is it for human consumption.
On the other side, we are also facing at times a pressure from members of the community who at times want to have access to the water supply that we have. But we have dealt with that in the manner that we have told them that what we have is only for the Department of Health and also for the hospital.
The Butterworth community is now being supplied by tankers which used to come from the Kai Bridge and also from Teko Fisher, but Kai Bridge now has also run dry, so the tankers can no more take water from there. So they're taking water from the country club, which is now boreholes, which are giving you, we've got 2 boreholes there, one is producing about 5 liters per second and one is producing 3 liters per second.
sizokha amanzi apha kusegcwadem ndawusifuna. I mean, country club in fact, because igcwadem ngumlambo lo uhlayo awusenamanzi. Anodithi manje ukuthi igcwadem because awunamanzi. Sizokha amanzi apha sisaplayela abahlali. Obika, Msobomvu, Tyupa, zonke locations, including i-rural areas, izazulwana nezinye. Amanzi ayasibetha, gazo lasipetrol asinayo. Kokuqala sibetha zizonto, iyasikhosta kakhulu loo nto leyo.
Here behind me are 3 tanks that actually hold water from the borehole. Water comes from the borehole, it goes in here, it's kept here, and then ordinary people, citizens of Nguma around here in Butterworth, who are in Butterworth Country Club here at the golf course, they get water from these tanks.
My name is Saviour Ajokwa. I reside in Butterworth, and this water crisis has been since 3 months. So I'm somebody who has a family with 4 children. It affected me so much that I had to leave my work sometimes, take permission to come and fetch water for my family.
Although we've got some hand pumps within the villages which are assisting in certain areas, but some of those hand pumps, water produced from those hand pumps, are not water for human consumption, are water basically for doing washing and flushing toilets. Because some boreholes have not produced good quality and some have produced quality that could be used.
We've been experiencing this problem for like 2 to 3 months from now, you see, and like the Minister of Water told us that we are going to get water as soon as possible, but we've been waiting and we're still waiting until now, you see. This thing of coming here, it decreases our time for like doing our schoolwork, because we like need to go here for like our mothers, because our mothers, some of us, we live with grannies and like they are too old to come here, you see, so we don't have enough time to like come here and do our homeworks at the same time. That's the problem we're experiencing here.
As the people of Butterworth, we striked for water for 7 days, asking for the government for water. We're still waiting for the water. I don't see any hope that there will be water in Butterworth in any time soon.
It really has been quite a knock. Some have lost their livestock. Crops obviously have failed drastically. So truly, in the true sense of what drought means, and as much as there is a trickle and a drizzle right now, it's not enough. It really has struck people by surprise, and yes, really, it is dire straits.
Nemfuyo iyafa apha ngenxa yembalela ngokoma amanzi. Amanzi ngabebe kuzabe khona bethengwa. Aqala ungabikho ngalumkhwishana ubusana bakhona. Yiloo nto.
Yenza ke loo nto leyo uba siphulukwe ke ngoku ngamahashi, amahashi afa. Inkomo zethu zafa, zimbi zalahleka zibhadula kuba zidinga ukutya.
The situation around our area, which is Ngoma, is very, very dire, to say the least. I've been here, I've been around for about 40 years, and this is my first experience. And it has affected the surrounding areas, that is not only the citizens who are living in and around the Butterworth town. Also, if you go down to Tentane, if you go down to Namakwe, where you find the livestock dying each and every day, you find people drinking water from where animals are drinking water. And that's not a healthy situation. And if you come closer to the location where most of our people are, if you go there and you see people running up and down, drinking filthy water, because they've got no alternative. But if I were to fast forward, our government, for the past 3-4 months, they've taken it up, and the strides that they are taking to meet the demands, to assist the people, at least I as a person, I as the one of the old residents of this area, I really appreciate that.
You would understand that the problem or the exact challenge that was facing the Eastern Cape was the shortage of water. And this was prior to the drought crisis. It was the shortage of water caused by a plethora of challenges stemming from one, water wastage by both communities and the municipalities, the loss of both revenue and non-revenue water, the leaks that you have in our areas due to the decayed infrastructure, and a lack of civic education with regards to water preservation, management, harvesting and storage. And as if that was not enough, you had a situation where the entire Eastern Cape suffered, in particular 3 regions. They suffered from inclement weather conditions, the drought crisis that you have, which was now a negative movement from water shortage to a total lack of water.
Umcimbi we-drought ayingomcimbi esiwuplana kakuhle siyile country. I think xa beyikhumsha bathi South Africa still behaves as if we have all the water in the world. It's not like we didn't know 10 years ago that this drought is going to be with us and it's going to be severe, but we didn't plan properly.
The government had to respond. In fact, the minister, in one of the interviews, she was so apt in talking about this type of a situation, the drought crisis that we have, that it is not necessarily a disaster issue that has got to be managed by COGTA, but it is indeed a water crisis, and therefore the Department of Water and Sanitation must play a leading role in as far as coming up with a response plan, immediate relief, medium-term strategies, and the long-term strategies.
But we come in as a last resort because the first port of call is the council and then the province. And we have been able to provide them with some relief. And we're going there now to find out if that relief is ongoing and if they're satisfied with the relief that we have provided them.
Namhlanje apha eMnquma kule wadi yakwa 11 sifana neYerusalem ifikelwe nguYesu. Ithemba lethu likhulu kakhulu kule meko sikuyo. Silistile ke apha mama wethu izinto zethu esirhalela into yoba singancediswa ngazo ukuhlangabezana nale ngxaki sikuyo.
Sizawuthetha ke no-municipal manager, no-DG, kanye no-councillor wenu uba kuyawuthatha ixesha elingakanani because kuyanyanzeleka uba siwa-ode lama-jojo tanks. Okwangoku sizawuincreasa i-capacity ye-trucks ezizayo for eli xesha silinde i-jojo tanks. Is that okay kuni? Okay, Nkosi.
Ndibulela kakhulu ukufikela kwethu nguminister kuba sesingamazi into abangaza abe lapha since sikule lali isebugqayibeni.
Siyabulela kuwe Mamulindiwe Sisulu kuba kubekho ekuzeni kwakho kube khona i-change kuba kukhona izitrato ebezingenawo kwamatanki kodwa uye wanayo umonde woba usiphe amatanki ayi-50.
There are quite a number of challenges, but what we've decided to do is to increase the number of tanks per ward, and also to increase the number of trucks, the water cutting trucks per ward. We will have to also look at alternative technology. Sand water abstraction is another option, desalination. We will also look at that as well. So we presented all the options, and those options will have to be costed.
As we understand that others are seeing business opportunities in this tankering that we're talking about, others are seeing. That's why there's an element of sabotage as well. When you correct the situation, others are disrupting the situation, but they see business. We are not in a business, but we would want to help SMMEs to improve. We are in a business of giving water to our people. Government must do that.
We're looking for boreholes in this area. Is it an area that is amenable to drilling and getting water? Yes.
Groundwater is one of the options we need to be considering because it's a local water resource that we can tap into. But unfortunately, we'll have to do the assessments and to do the surveys, and should there be suitable groundwater in the area, then we certainly will ensure that we tap into that resource and make sure that it can be a water source for the local communities.
And we have agreed, one, that we are going to provide some resources to the province to assist them financially with the drought, to augment the resources that they have. Two, we're going to have a war room that consists of themselves, councillors of affected areas and ourselves and our technicians, to see how we can manage a situation, be able to detect an approaching drought for an area, and have an early warning system to be able to be proactive as opposed to coming in only when there's a protest.
We are basically saying today, thanks Minister and thanks to the team. As a province, we definitely want national cabinet probably to really, so that it's no longer a sectoral matter, a departmental matter. Even the president to know that people here are really getting out of water. Our dams are drying up. Most of them are below 10%, 5%. So it's a situation, it's a crisis point that really doesn't need Eastern Cape or the department, it needs government of South Africa.
Idami eli xa seligcwele lima apha ku-8 kwale gauge plate. Amanzi aphume ngaphaya kulaa ndawo ibonakalayo aphuma kuyo phaa xa ebheke egcuwa ligcwele lingekavulelwa.
Turn off the tap when you no longer need it. Please do not brush your teeth on running water. And there are a number of other basic things we will be sending out via SMS and social media of the don'ts that we are asking you to observe, because we need to serve the little water that we have.